So for the past like 5 years or possibly even decade, there has always been a conversation around video games and why they're just not as passionate or good as they used to be. A lot of them seem like cash grabs, like they were made in 5 minutes, thrown out, and with a million microtransactions. And I just kind of wanted to take the time to talk about that and give my opinion on everything. So, DLC used to be a thing where after the game's release, companies and devs would release more content to basically show thanks and provide more for the players after the game's release. They would release a full game and then like a year later or whenever or later, like they would release either more story, characters, skins, whatever. And it was basically like something they worked on after the release of the game. And it wasn't like a part of the main game. It was still a full game. But because of this, now you have a lot of updates and people are able to basically throw out games that are unfinished that they have planned. So it's like imagine they have 100% of a game idea, and instead of creating that game and then throwing it out, what they do is they'll make like 70% of the game, and then the last 30% that they're already working on, instead of releasing the game like 6 months later, they'll just have it as paid DLC. And another thing too, I started to notice that a lot of companies are starting to do, they'll make the game and then the stuff that they know that people really want to buy or that people really want to play as, like certain characters or certain things that people actually want in the game and they can't wait for, that'll be like paid DLC. Like you have to pay for the stuff you really want. Everything else, it doesn't, it just comes with the base game. But if you really want it, yeah, you're gonna have to pay like 3 months later for paid DLC, even though they created it before the game came out and it could have just been there already. And another thing too is I'm starting to notice more games having day one or DLC on launch, which is absolutely crazy. You have to buy like a pack or some sort of season pass, even though you already spent like the $70 on the base game just to have bonus content after you finish the game. Like it's actually crazy. Like imagine spending $70 on a game knowing that you have to spend 20 more for content that they already created. Like it's not like 5 months later that they release, like it's already created in a part of the game, but you have to pay to play it, even though you already bought the full game. That's absolutely crazy. It's insane. And it's just ridiculous. But a part of it too, I understand, is they have to be able to please everyone, and some gamers are psychopaths. Like there was this one guy who was telling me about this game that I used to play. It kind of died like very fast, and he was complaining, saying basically like it needed DLC, and this was like 2 months after the game's release. So that shows you just how much content it had in the game. And he was complaining, saying like they needed to make DLC and basically just complaining about like they're not adding to the game. And I'm like, bro, if a game needs DLC within the first couple of months of it releasing, then it's not a complete game and they scammed you. If in February the game released and it's April and you're like, dang, bro, why are they not dropping content? Mind you, it's not like a live service game. This is a fighting game. So if your complaint is they need to drop more content and why aren't they dropping more content? It's been 2 months. I feel like your complaint is misplaced and that's actually ridiculous. Instead of saying why aren't they dropping more content, they're lazy, you should be complaining about them dropping the game with a lack of content. This is 2 months after. They shouldn't have to drop anything. You should be able to play it. Now, mind you, if it's like a story game and you want more content, that's different. Because in order for you to play the game, you're thirsty for more. So it's not like you can actually play the game unless you just replay it. But when it comes to a fighting game, if you're done with the story and you want to play the game, your focus shouldn't be on more content. It should be on fighting people online, like actually playing your friends and stuff like that. That's what a fighting game is for. So for you to complain about content when you should be enjoying playing online, that's how you know the game doesn't have enough content. It just makes no sense. And I understand that devs do deal with this and companies deal with this. They deal with people who they could make a million characters. Like, look at Sparking Zero, right? That's about to come out. Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero. They could release a million characters. And there's always gonna be those people who complain, why don't they have this character? Why don't they have that character? Why didn't they add this? Why didn't they add that? And it's like you just can't satisfy everybody. And I do feel like they are under pressure about that, but it's something that they kind of have to deal with. So when they're creating, I do understand that they do have to hold out on some of the content because people are going to complain and want more content after launch. So I get it, but at the same time, you can't use that as a crutch and an excuse for some of these day one DLCs and different things, especially when developers release the games knowing that it's a buggy mess, knowing that there's missing features and different things, and they'll just have this plan of updating it. Like the Naruto game that came out recently, like last, I want to say November, I believe, or yeah, I want to say October, November, but that game released and you couldn't even invite your friends. What type of fighting game is there to where you cannot even invite your friends? And it wasn't there for like a couple months. That's actually insane and unacceptable. But they're able to get away with stuff like that because they know that they can just update it. The fact that they know, hey, we can fix this whenever, in 2 weeks, in a month, in 3 months, 6 months, a year, whenever we want to, whenever we're able to, we can just fix it and release it how it is. They can update graphics to an extent. They can add content. They can fix bugs, patches, all type of stuff. That gives them no real pressure to release a perfect polished game when they know that they can just add to it and still create it. That's crazy, bro. That's like me releasing a YouTube video, but I'm still recording it and I'm just gonna add to it later. Like, and I'm gonna edit it on. Like, that's actually crazy, bro. And they're able to just get away with it with no real consequences. I've seen some companies, they've faced like a couple little lawsuits in there, but there's nothing really stopping them from doing this. And I highly doubt anything will come in the future unless there's like real change. But I appreciate you guys for watching the video. And for today's question, I want to know, how do you feel about video games today and what could make them better? Please share all your thoughts down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.